Forgotten Falls by Ryan Kaminski.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kaminski. I'm the playwright of Forgotten Falls. The play has had a few stage readings, and it also had a stage production in New York City this past February at the Black Orchid Theater Group, and I'm happy to be sharing the play with you today.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline, and I'll be playing Mallory.
Hi, I'm Amber, and I'll be playing Grace.
Hi, I'm David Gross. I'll be playing Sheriff Fred Watson.
Hi, I'm Kanika Savoy, and I'll be playing Audrey.
Hi, I'm Catherine Gilbert, and I'll be reading for Lena.
Hi, I'm James Bryan, and I'll be playing Stephen.
Hi, I'm Tony Green, and I'll be the narrator. The family room of the Barnes home. Morning. Mallory Barnes examines a framed photograph that sits on one of the bookcase shelves. A photo album sits on the coffee table.
Morning.
Oh, look what the cat dragged in. What time did you get in last night?
Driver dropped me off around 1. There was a lot more people at the book signing than anticipated.
I'm only a couple chapters in, but I'm really liking it so far. Much better than your screenplays. It's so nice to get a story of yours that isn't filled with Hollywood bullshit.
Well, that's the nature of the movie business. By the time your script moves into production and everybody changes everything, it's usually filled with Hollywood bullshit.
So what's the plan now that the book tour is done? Are you gonna write more movies out in LA, write another book, spend some time at some artsy-fartsy museums to get inspired?
I really don't know at the moment. As of now, my plan for the next few months is to take a much needed break and enjoy the summer with my sisters. Speaking of which, let's see if you did good or not. Oh, I see your sense of booze has improved since my last visit. Wait, is this?
From the winery near Forgotten Falls? You bet it is. Liquor store in town finally started carrying it. I figured we could all have a glass.
Just a glass?
Or several.
Now you're talking. Did you happen to notice what I put out yet?
She gestures to the framed photograph on the bookshelf.
Where did you find this?
Down in the basement. It was behind Dad's old writing desk. He must have dropped it back 3 years ago. I was trying to figure out what trip it was from. We went up the falls so many times.
It was from our last trip.
How do you know?
Because Audrey was having a glass of wine in it. Last time 3 of us went up to the falls was for her 21st birthday.
God, has it been that long?
Pictures don't lie, Mallory.
I figured Audrey would like to see it. That and one of Mom's old photo albums I found. She should be here any minute. We better finish getting everything set up.
Mallory takes 2 bottles of wine and places them on the bar cart. Grace plops down on the couch and flips through the photo album.
Funny. And nobody uses photo albums like this anymore. Everything's digital these days.
Mom would have gone crazy. She drove us nuts trying to figure out that crappy CD player. Imagine her with today's computers.
Now that would have been funny. Well, so long as I didn't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Hey, Mallory, did you look through this whole thing?
No, why?
On the last page, there are a couple of photos of you and...
The front doorbell rings.
She's here. I didn't get a chance to open the wine yet. Get cracking, Grace.
Mallory crosses to the front door and opens it.
Audrey. Fred?
Hi, Mallory.
Oh my God, it's so good to see you.
They embrace.
Come in, come in.
Hiya, Fred.
Hi, Grace. I was on my way back to town, and I wanted to pop by and see if you got here yet. When did you get in?
Yesterday afternoon. Didn't have time to stop and say hi to anyone because I was off to the city for the book tour.
New York was the last stop.
That's right.
Thought I got a copy of the book for myself the other day.
You did? Fred, you didn't have to.
Oh, of course I did. I still have a bunch of your old stories. I can add this one to the collection.
That's very sweet of you. Please let me know what you think.
Oh, if I finish by the time you leave, that is. I'm not sure if you remember, but I'm a pretty slow reader.
I'll be here all summer.
Yeah, and if you're still not done by then, Fred, you can always read the summer online. That's what half my students do for their book reports.
Wow. Way to encourage people to embrace reading, Grace.
No problem. I just remembered, didn't you have a copy of the book you wanted to give to Audrey?
Oh, yeah. I don't think I got a chance to unpack it yet. It was so nice seeing you, Fred. See you later.
Nice seeing you too, Mal. You look great.
Well,
Steven's truck is still parked in the same place.
so his friend really did pick him up and drive him to Connecticut.
Looks that way.
I honestly don't know when to believe Audrey anymore.
Well, it looks like she was telling the truth here.
Anything else?
In terms of Stephen and Audrey, no. But there is something else on Lena.
Oh, God, what happened now?
She was at the tavern the other night. Had her keys taken away again, and patrons were complaining about her being disorderly. By the time I got there, she agreed to call a cab.
Stephen and his baby sister are quite the pair, aren't they? Jesus Christ.
Well, she wasn't confrontational, at least. While it's not perfect, I'd say it has gotten better with the two of them.
Are you honestly trying to tell me the two of them have turned over a new leaf?
All I'm saying is sometimes it takes a couple of brushes with authority for someone to get their act together. You know that with some of your students.
We're not talking about a bunch of high school kids. We're talking about my sister's pathetic excuse of a husband and his equally pathetic sister.
I know, but you did tell me you haven't noticed anything else regarding the situation since the spring, right?
Right?
So maybe it has turned around for the better. You of all people should know, innocent until proven guilty. But I will keep my word and ride around the place whenever I can.
Thank you, Fred. I appreciate you keeping your word.
Once an officer in blue, always an officer in blue.
Don't start. The answer is still no.
Oh, I wasn't asking you anything.
You were trying to get me to think about it.
Well, what's wrong with thinking about it? You were a great cop, Grace. Everyone else down at the department thinks so too.
I'd be lying if I told you I didn't think about it from time to time, but every time I do, I take a look at that ugly scar Jeff Sutherland left me, and that's reason enough for me to stay where I am.
I think about Jeff Sutherland a lot too, especially what I had to do that night. And for me, everything about that night gives me a reason to stay where I am too. Just know the offer is always on the table.
Oh, Fred, you're still here.
I was just heading out.
There's no need. You're welcome to hang out and have a drink.
No, I'm on duty, Mallory.
Oh, at least wait until Audrey gets here to say hi.
I saw her the other day at the grocery store. Besides, today belongs to the three of you. Can always stop by and have a drink another time.
All right. I'm going to hold you to that, though. Hey, Fred, you're in here.
What? You must be joking.
Given your haircut here, I wish I was. It's from your senior prom. Mom must have put these photos in here without me knowing. Huh.
No, this isn't from my senior prom. It's from your junior prom. You wore the blue gown to your junior prom and the pink one to my senior prom.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I remember now.
All I can say is thank God that hairdo went out of style. Great to see you, Mal. Congrats on that book again.
Don't forget to tell me what you think.
Oh, I will. Take it easy, Grace.
2. Sorry about that. I forgot I left it open. I tried to tell you the prom pictures were in it.
Not a problem. Can't believe Mom saved them. Anyway, it was forever ago.
Something tells me it doesn't seem like forever ago to Fred.
What do you mean?
Do I, of all people, have to spell it out for you? He's waiting for you, sis. He wants you back.
Oh, come on now.
He bought your book, didn't he?
We don't know that for a fact. He could have just been saying that.
Well, I know for a fact he went to every single movie you wrote. Not to mention his "you look great" comment. Hell, he even remembers which gown you wore to which prom.
You never told me he went to my movies.
You were with Harrison at the time. It just didn't seem like the right time to tell you.
And this is the right time? Didn't you tell me he just got divorced?
Yeah.
Well, then he's not interested if he just got a divorce.
If anything, I'd say he's more interested now that the two of you are single again.
Grace, I'm not here trying to rekindle something that's been dead for almost a decade. And neither is Fred. He was just being polite.
No man is that polite without wanting something.
Clearly, you don't appreciate the kind of man Fred Watson is. I know I certainly didn't. Now, for off the subject, what do you say we get ready for Audrey? That is what we're supposed to be doing right now.
Whatever you say. I'll go get the wine glasses.
Grace makes her way over to the kitchen door. She turns to the couch and spots Mallory looking at the prom pictures in the album. Mallory notices Grace staring at her and closes the album.
He went to every single movie I wrote?
The front doorbell rings.
I got it.
Mallory leaps off the couch, crosses to the front door, and opens it.
Audrey! Audrey! I can't hear you, Audrey.
Hi, Mel.
It's so good to see you. God, I've missed you so much.
I've missed you too.
You're just in time. Grace just got back with a bottle of wine I know you're going to love.
Isn't it a little bit early to be hitting the bottle?
Please don't tell me my party-loving sister has become one of those boring drinkers who waits until 5 o'clock.
I'm afraid so.
You didn't mention that the last time we talked. Come to think of it, when was the last time we talked? You never answer the phone. I call in the morning, I call at night, but you never answer.
I'm sorry. I've just been keeping the line open for Steven. A lot of places have been calling him for job interviews. He just had one on the phone the other week.
Well, speak of the devil.
Hi, Grace.
Let me set these down and we can all have a seat.
Grace drops the glasses off on the bar cart. Mallory and Audrey sit on the couch where they are joined by Grace.
That's great to hear about Steven, though. I hope he gets the job. And honestly, just get a cell phone like everyone else. We'll be able to talk that way.
You know I'm not that good with technology.
It doesn't have to be a tech-savvy phone, Audrey. Hell, it can be one of those old flip phones no one uses anymore.
I'll look into it. Anyway, congratulations on the book. I'm going to pick up a copy in town later today.
Don't bother. I brought you a copy.
The Taste of Anticipation by Mallory Barnes. Oh, I can't wait to read it.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it.
My thoughts? Why?
Why? Because you're my baby sister, silly? Although you aren't much of a baby anymore. God, you look gorgeous.
Oh, stop it.
I mean it. Well, minus all this mess. It's 90 degrees out. Why are you dressed like a nun?
You know me, I'm always cold. Besides, I love this blouse. Stephen got it for me last spring.
As long as you're comfortable. You remembered your gold bracelet.
Of course I did. I always wear it.
You hear that, Grace?
Oh, stuff it.
What's wrong?
Grace lost her bracelet.
Oh, no, really?
I'll find it. Anyway, I
Mm.
don't see what the big deal is. Why do we have to wear those bracelets whenever we meet?
They were all gifts from Mom.
I know, I'm just saying there are other ways to remember someone.
Audrey, take a look at Mom's photo album I found upstairs. It's got some award-winning high school photos of Grace, especially when she had to wear those braces.
Oh, God. If we're going to look at those, might as well bring out the booze.
Grace heads over to the bar cart.
You're definitely having wine, Mallory?
Yes.
Audrey?
I'll stick with water.
Water? Come on, Audrey. I thought you were kidding earlier. You used to drink the two of us under the table.
That was a long time ago. I've become a real lightweight.
Even better. You'll start having fun sooner. Come on. It's from the winery near Forgotten Falls.
Is it? Even so, I still have to drive.
You'll be sober by the time you leave.
I'll stop it. You know I can't get drunk. Besides, I'm not going to be staying that long anyway.
What? Why not? You just got here.
Mallory, enough. She doesn't want to, then she doesn't want to, okay?
All right. No need to gang up on me. I'll get you a glass of water.
Grace sits beside Audrey and sets the wine glasses down on the coffee table.
So, when's Stephen coming back?
Later this evening,
Hunting trip in Connecticut, huh?
a little bit of hunting, a little bit of gambling at one of those casinos up there too.
He's with his friend Paul, right?
That's right, Paul Gunderson. Paul stayed over for a night and then he drove Stephen up to his place.
Lena's not with them, is she?
No, not this time. What's with all these questions?
Just making conversation.
You always seem to bring Stephen into the conversation a lot lately.
He is my brother-in-law. I'm just curious what he's been up to is all.
Like I said earlier, Stephen's been busy looking for a job. He's doing fine, and so am I.
Mallory re-enters with a glass of water. She hands it to Audrey.
Thank you. Oh, and thank you again for the birthday check. It came in the mail right before Stephen left. I still don't know why you send me so much every year.
Consider them deposits for your Vegas vacation. When's that happening, by the way? You should have more than enough by now.
Stephen just wants to make sure his career is in order before we take a trip like that. He's never been one to depend on charity.
It's not charity. You two are family.
I know, but it'll happen soon enough.
Grace and I were just talking about all the wonderful family vacations we used to take. I found this along with the photo album.
She takes the framed photograph off the bookshelf and shows it to her.
From our last trip to the falls.
Oh my God.
I know. Grace and I couldn't believe it either. There we are at our usual dining table on the hotel patio. God, those trips were magical. Remember how we take a picture with our drinks there every year?
Oh no, Mallory. I see where you're going with this. We're not taking a picture now.
Why not? It can go right next to this one on the bookshelf.
All that would do is depress me given how old I've gotten.
I agree with Grace. Besides, I look like a mess today.
Fine, no pictures. But how about a toast then?
A toast?
Yes, a toast to us.
Okay, sure.
Why the hell not?
Here's to the three of us being together again. And here's to a long overdue summer that we'll all get to share. Cheers.
Cheers.
Grace raises her glass and clangs it against Mallory's. Audrey gently taps her glass against Mallory's.
Come on now, Audrey. That was the lamest clang I've ever heard. Aunt Emma had more umph when she was 90.
Audrey raises her glass and clangs it against Mallory's. Mallory notices something beneath Audrey's sleeve.
What was that under your sleeve?
Mal, enough of this. There's nothing under my sleeve.
Yes, there is. I saw something.
She tries to pull the sleeve up.
Stop it. Get off me.
Mallory pulls up the sleeve of Audrey's blouse. A large bruise runs up Audrey's arm.
Oh my God.
It's nothing.
She pulls
How
her
did that
sleeve down.
happen? How did that happen?
The front doorbell rings. Audrey stares at the front door.
Never mind the door. Answer me.
Why? Jesus Christ.
Grace opens the front door.
She here?
What the hell are you doing here, Lena?
I said, is she here?
Mallory,
If by she you mean my sister, Audrey, then yes, she's here. Now is not a good time.
Lena, what is it? What's wrong?
I got a call from Stephen. He's on his way back with Paul.
He's on his way back already?
Yeah. Paul's dropping him off early, which means we'll all head to the tavern tonight. I drove past your place and I saw Stephen's truck is parked in the same space before he left. So I hope you remembered to fill it up and to change the oil like he asked.
I have to go.
Go? Audrey, sit down. You're not going anywhere.
I promised Stephen I'd fill up his truck and change the oil before he came home. I was going to do it later, but now that he's coming back early.
Why on earth is that your responsibility?
Mallory, please. I have to go.
Audrey, stay here and we'll talk. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about everything.
I can't. I'm sorry. A promise is a promise. We'll talk later. Thank you for having me.
Figured I'd give her a warning is all.
Warning for what?
Oh, hey, it's Millicent, right?
It's Mallory. You know damn well who I am, Lena.
Yeah, right. The eldest sister who's the hotshot writer, right? You're the one who's always sending Audrey those expensive birthday checks.
How do you know about those?
Stephen tells me.
Yeah, well, they're not addressed to Stephen. They're addressed to Audrey.
Sure. Anyway, I better get going. I was on my way to town before I decided to just, pop by, say hi. I hope I didn't spoil anything. I'll see you two around.
Let's go. I'll get your keys.
My keys?
Yes, your keys. I don't have a car here, remember? I don't know which is worse, the bruise on her arm or the way she ran out of here like a dog being called. Well, come on. Can't you see what's happening here? Have you known, Grace? Have you known what's been happening?
I had my suspicions.
You suspected our sister was being abused by her husband and you didn't say anything.
Of course, I've said something. That is when I actually see her. Believe it or not, but this is the longest conversation I've had with Audrey in months. Every time I bumped into her in town and noticed the bruise, it's more or less the same. There was an accident doing yard work or I was fooling around with Stephen.
How long have you been noticing bruises?
On and off for a couple months.
Months? And all you've done is try to talk to her?
I've done everything I can, given the circumstances. When you have no proof and just suspicions, there's only so much you can do. Why else do you think Fred really stopped by this morning?
Fred, what's he got to do with this?
I asked him to keep an eye on her place. He takes the road past the house now. That way, if he passes by, hears an argument or catch Stephen in his act, then he can intervene and arrest him.
That's your plan? Keep our fingers crossed and hope Stephen beats her at the exact moment Fred rides by?
This isn't one of your Hollywood movies where the cops can just barge in and beat the crap out of the husband. There's a little thing in life called the law. And given the law, it's the only thing we can do unless we find proof or unless she presses charges.
Why didn't you tell me, Grace? Why didn't you tell me all of this was going on?
Because I thought things had gotten better. I hadn't noticed any bruises since the spring. Fred seemed to think maybe the situation had turned around. Obviously, he was wrong. Anyway, what would you have done, Mallory? You were on the other side of the country living it up in Hollywood.
That's not fair. I would have been here. I would have helped.
It's not your responsibility to help her anymore. It's not like when we were kids and you could protect her everywhere she went. We're all adults now with our own lives and our own battles.
Audrey has had enough battles in her life, and she's fought far too many of them by herself already. We need to do something, and we need to do it now.
What exactly do you have in mind?
We need to sit her down and explain the seriousness of the situation. We need to convince her to end it and press charges.
You mean like an intervention? Do you know how many times I've tried to talk her out of this?
This is different.
How?
Because I'll be here this time. We'll have her back here at the house. This is where we grew up. This is where Mom and Dad were. This is where her family's always been. And this is where the family she has left is going to help her.
You realize getting her over here isn't going to be easy, right? Her coming over today was supposed to be a big treat, and look how that turned out.
She forgot her book. That's how we'll get her back here. We wait a day or so, call Stephen, and tell him she needs to come back for her book. He won't see it as suspicious at all. Then, when she's here, that's when we talk to her.
Then the real challenge begins. I don't know about this. There's so many ways this can turn out.
We have to try, Grace. You know this is something we can't wait on. It's now or never. Promise me you'll back me up in any way you can. Audrey needs both of us.
I promise. I'll back you up.
Good. I don't know about you, but I really don't feel like celebrating this afternoon. Or reminiscing.
I'll take care of these.
She picks up the wine glasses. The family room of the Barnes home, 2 nights later. Mallory paces about the family room with a copy of Audrey's book in hand.
We still got time before Audrey shows up, you know. Mallory?
No, I just can't sit still.
She approaches the bar cart.
How about a drink? Well, it'll calm you down.
No, thanks. I just can't believe I'm going to have this conversation with Audrey, of all people.
Looking back on things, does it really surprise you?
If you told me she'd end up with a man like Stephen Lawrence back when we used to take those trips to the falls, I never would have believed it. But if you told me a couple of years ago, then yeah, I'd believe it. I really thought she was doing better in recent years. I really thought she had put the past behind her enough to move forward. The accident is what changed her. She was never the same after that.
None of us were the same after that accident.
But she was with Mom and Dad when it happened. She was the one driving the car when that animal darted out.
I know.
Then imagine the guilt she must feel every day of her life. Do you know what that does to a person?
I know what it does to a person, Mallory. I was there when we found her in the bathtub that day.
So then why can't you understand she feels directly responsible for what happened to our parents?
What I don't understand is what the accident and her suicide attempt have to do with her and Stephen.
It's the domino effect.
What?
The domino effect. Remember when we were kids and Dad used to set up his dominoes? All you had to do was push one down and the others would fall with it. The accident was the first domino to fall in Audrey's life. After that, it was falling domino after falling domino until she ended up with Stephen Lawrence. Before the accident, Audrey never would have gotten involved with someone like that. Her self-worth was so high, too high. But after the accident, and after she tried to end her own life, her self-worth was so low that any man who would pay attention to her was like Prince Charming. I'm convinced all it takes is one event in your life, one domino to fall. And before you know it, you don't recognize the person you are anymore.
So what happens when you run out of dominoes? What happens when they've all fallen?
I think we'll find out tonight.
The front doorbell rings.
We'll do it like we planned.
Mallory sets down the book on the coffee table and crosses to the front door.
Hi, Audrey.
Hi, Mal. Sorry about forgetting the book the other day.
Don't worry about it. It's on the coffee table.
I'm afraid I can't stay late. Grace?
Hi, Audrey.
Mallory, what's going on? I thought I was just picking up the book.
I said that so he'd let you come here.
So he'd let me come here? What are you talking about? What is this?
We wanted you to come here because we need to talk.
Talk? Talk about what?
The bruise on your arm, for starters. Then we can get into why you're not allowed to have a cell phone, why you can only see Grace for a few minutes whenever you bump into her in town, and why it was your job to change the oil in Stephen's truck.
How dare you trick me like this? Give me the book and then I'm out of here.
She walks over to the coffee table. Grace takes the book.
You cannot be serious. Give me the book now, Grace.
Not until you talk to us.
That's not fair.
What isn't fair is what's going on right now. And you know it, Audrey. Please just talk to us. All we want to do is talk.
Audrey sits on the couch along with Grace and Mallory.
How long? How long has Stephen been doing this?
Only been a handful of times.
Audrey, we want the truth. You and I both know it's been more than a handful of times. When we bumped into each other at the grocery store back in January, you had the black eye. It's summer now.
It's been happening for a while.
A while? How often does Stephen hit you?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Stephen doesn't hit me. Let's get one thing straight.
If he doesn't hit you, then how do you get that black eye Grace saw or the bruise on your arm?
Okay, a little shove or slap here and there, it doesn't equate to hitting.
That bruise on your arm looked awfully dark. Must have been one hell of a little slap.
What do you want from me? You want me to admit I'm a crappy wife?
What on earth are you talking about?
It's why he loses his temper sometimes. He loses his temper because I'm not there for him.
Don't you dare pull that, Audrey. Don't you dare blame yourself for his actions.
Do you have any idea what he's been through? Of course you don't. You can't relate to losing your job or having a stack of unpaid bills on the kitchen table. He needs me to be there for him. And no matter how hard I try, it's just never good enough. It's my fault and mine alone.
I want to show you something.
Mallory crosses to the bookshelf and picks up the framed photograph.
No, I'm done with this.
Audrey attempts to rise. Grace grabs her left arm.
Well, we're not.
You're hurting me. Let me go.
Grace pulls up Audrey's sleeve. Another large bruise is present.
You're hurting me. Please let me go.
What is that bruise for, Audrey?
We were arguing the other day about the oil change and filling up his truck. I raised my hand and he batted away at my arm.
Mallory retakes her seat on the couch. She holds up the photograph.
I want you to look at this.
Hasn't this talk been enough for one evening?
Do you recognize this photo from Forgotten Falls?
I already told you I did.
That's me, and that's Grace. But I'm having trouble recognizing who the other woman is. Do you know?
This is sick. This is sick and twisted.
Answer the question. You're not leaving here until you do.
It's me. That's you. that's Grace, and that's me.
No, it's not you. It might have been you at one point, but it's not you anymore.
Why are you doing this to me, Mel? Why?
Because the woman in this photo respected herself and loved herself. The woman in this photo was brave and strong and would never settle for anything but the best. That woman was my sister Audrey. And I miss her more than anything. We took this photo on the first night of our trip. And then the next morning, we set off for the falls, just like we did every year.
I remember.
You remember the trail we took that year, Audrey?
No, I don't. There was at least a dozen that led to the falls.
That year, Grace and I wanted to take a different trail. We were both feeling extra adventurous because Grace was on her way to become a police officer, and I was engaged to Fred. The trail we decided to take was longer than we thought, and before we knew it, we got lost, and to make matters worse, it was starting to rain. Grace and I thought it wasn't worth it and wanted to go back to the hotel. Do you remember what happened next?
I said I could get us to the falls, and I told the two of you the rain would stop by the time we got there.
You led the way that day, Audrey. You led Grace and me up steep paths, up hills, down hills, and even across that woodland where we found that old abandoned well until we finally reached the falls. And just like you predicted, the rain had stopped by the time we got there. Thanks to the trail we took, the trail you refused to give up on, we got to see the falls from a nearby peak we didn't even know existed. Seeing the falls from that angle with a rainbow high above was one of the most beautiful sights I had ever seen.
What does that day have to do with anything?
Because on that day, you showed us you were no longer our baby sister, but a brave and courageous woman who could lead the way when things got tough. We know how tough it's been for you, from the car accident to that day we found you in the tub, but just like that day at Forgotten Falls, you too can take charge again and lead the way to something truly beautiful and fulfilling. And just like that day, we'll be with you every step of the way.
And what do you want me to do? Tell me, how am I supposed to lead the way given where I am right now?
First things first, you need to leave Stephen.
Leave him?
We hate to be blunt, but that's the first thing that needs to be done. After that, you need to press charges. He needs to pay for what he's done. The longer you stay with him, the longer you're surrounded by the problem.
You want me to pick up my life and leave, just like that.
Look, the stuff of the house isn't important. Your safety is.
I'm not talking about my stuff. I'm talking about my marriage.
I understand that.
No, you don't. You have no idea what it's like to be married, Grace.
Audrey.
You don't know what it's like to make that vow, to commit to someone, to give them your everything, regardless of what my husband's done. He's still my husband.
And how is he honoring his side of the commitment? By turning you into his punching bag?
Grace, that's enough. I understand what you're saying about your marriage. Before Harrison and I got a divorce, I did everything I could to try and save mine. But I came to a certain point where I asked myself if it was worth saving. So now I am going to ask you the same question. Is being married to a man like Stephen worth saving? You know the answer. You know Grace and I are right on this. Deep down, you know we're right.
Just because you're right doesn't make it any easier.
She rises with the book in hand.
Where are you going?
Home.
Home? As in back to Stephen?
Look, the two of you have made it perfectly clear something needs to be done. But we are talking about the past 3 years. I just can't take all that time and throw it away on a moment's notice like this one. Just please give me some time.
Time? Audrey, Can't you see? The longer you wait, the worse it'll get.
I need to do what's right for me. I need to solve this problem the way I know how to solve it. Thank you both for being there for me. I'll let you know what happens.
Audrey, you can't leave like this. Audrey!
The family room of the Barnes home a few hours later. Mallory sits on the couch with a drink in hand.
See, you changed your mind about having a drink.
I figured why not? I'm not falling asleep anytime soon. I feel like I'm sitting on a ticking time bomb that's about to go off at any second. I failed her, Grace. I failed Audrey. If I hadn't moved to LA, if I had been here for her, I could have seen the signs sooner.
Things don't work like that. Look at me. I've always been 10 minutes away, and even I didn't realize how bad the situation was. By the time I did, it was already too late.
You think it's already too late to save her?
I think the situation's so far gone that even if she wanted to get help, even if she wanted to send Stephen to the slammer, it'd be too late at this point. Things like this don't just go away in one night. I've been thinking about what you said earlier. Well, all it takes is one event in your life, one domino to fall, and before you know it, you don't recognize the person you are anymore. I've been thinking about the one event in my life that led me here. Without question, it was when Jeff Sutherland shot me. The more I think about it, the more I realize his wife played a huge part in it too.
What? Claire Sutherland? How do you figure that?
Because she had armed herself that night. She had grabbed one of the guns from Jeff's cabinet right before the neighbors called 911.
I still don't get that one. If she had armed herself, then why didn't she shoot him?
Because she hesitated. She chickened out, had second thoughts, whatever you want to call it. And the time she hesitated, Jeff had managed to grab a gun of his own, and a second later, she was dead on the floor.
What does all of that have to do with anything, though?
If she decided to pull that trigger, Jeff Sutherland never would have shot her. He never would have shot me, and Fred never would have been forced to kill him. 2 people dead. Me in the hospital for a month, and Fred still struggling with the fact that he had to take a life, all because one person couldn't pull a trigger. I see what's going on with Audrey and Stephen, and it makes me think of that horrible night at the Sutherlands. And I wonder, will someone have the guts to pull the trigger this time around?
Pull the trigger. What are you trying to say?
I'm saying at this point, we can either choose to sit back and bury Audrey, or we can choose to act now and bury Stephen. It's either one or the other.
Wait, are you trying to tell me that the answer to this is for Stephen to die?
Something needs to be done, Mallory. And unlike Claire Sutherland, we need to decide now rather than later.
My God, Grace. I know it's been a long and upsetting day, but do you even hear yourself right now?
Right now, all I hear is that ticking time bomb that's about to go off at any second.
The front doorbell rings.
Who the hell could that be?
Mallory rushes to the front door and opens it.
Fred?
Mallory, Grace, I'm sorry to disturb you so late, but there's been an incident. I think you should both come with me.
Why? What is it?
It's Audrey. They've taken her to the hospital.
The family room of the Barnes home a few hours later. Mallory and Grace sit side by side on the couch while Fred stands nearby.
I want an answer, Fred, and I want it now. Is Stephen going to be charged for this or not?
Until we have evidence, we can't charge him with anything.
Evidence? How about the fact that Audrey is lying in the hospital with a concussion? Because that monster pushed her down the stairs. What the hell do you people need?
Unless we can find something to contradict Stephen's statement that Audrey slipped down the stairs while carrying laundry, And there isn't any evidence.
What about the bruises on her arms? She had those long before tonight. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out who gave them to her.
Mallory, we've been over this. Unless someone witnesses Stephen abusing her, finds evidence of Stephen abusing her, or Audrey presses charges against Stephen, then there's nothing that can be done.
So that's it, huh? Jesus Christ, Fred, you're the police. Do something. This is my sister, and you're not doing your goddamn job.
Grace attempts to confront her, but notices Fred is about to do the same thing.
I think I left my phone charger plugged in upstairs.
Fred sits beside Mallory on the couch.
You know, I remember when I first sat on this couch. It was when I met your family for the first time. I'd never met a family of a girl I was dating before, and I was nervous as hell. You know what made me relax? Audrey. With a big hug and a warm smile, she welcomed me in, sat me down on this couch, and by the time you, your parents, and Grace had come down from upstairs, she already had me laughing about something. It's the kind of person she is. She was like the little sister I never had. And after all these years, I still view her as such. She's got to press charges, Mal. We're not talking about the occasional bruise anymore.
She won't press charges.
How do you know?
Because Grace and I tried to convince her earlier tonight. It was in one ear and out the other.
But I'm the sheriff of this town. I can protect her. Every police officer in this town can protect her.
Yeah, I saw how well the police in this town protected Claire Sutherland from her husband. What did it feel like, Fred,
What did what feel like?
to kill Jeff Sutherland?
Why are you asking me that?
I'm curious. I'm curious what it felt like to take a life. I'm sorry. I don't even know what I'm saying. It's been a long, terrible day, and I really need some sleep.
I'm sorry, too, for all of this. Seeing you and Grace go through this really breaks my heart. I'll let you know if we find anything at the house to contradict Stephen's story. And I'll be checking on Audrey once she's discharged. Maybe we can finally convince her to press charges.
Thank you for being here tonight, Fred. Thank you for being here for me.
She kisses him on the cheek. He heads to the front door.
And to answer your question, killing someone like Jeff Sutherland doesn't make me feel at all like I thought it would. I thought killing someone like him would bring me peace. Let's just say I've lost a lot of sleep because of it. Oh, he's dead and buried. He's still very much alive in my mind. Although I tell myself I did what I had to do that night, I just pray God feels the same way.
How are you holding up?
Not good at all.
You know, there's only so much Fred can do. You might want to cut him some slack.
I know. Man's a saint. He still cares about Audrey. He still cares about you. Hell, he even still cares about me.
I heard what you asked him about what it felt like to take a life. Why did you ask him that, Mallory?
Because I've been up almost 24 hours. I'm tired. I'm upset. I'm angry. I wasn't thinking straight.
Or could it be because of what I brought up earlier?
Grace, come on now. Enough.
Don't tell me you aren't at all considering it. You expect me to believe you asked Fred a question like that because you were just tired? You asked him that because you want to save our sister.
Oh my God, this is insane.
You heard Fred. They're not finding any evidence to contradict Stephen's story of what happened tonight. If the police are going to press charges, they need evidence. The police won't press charges and Audrey won't press charges. What other option do we have? Give me another option for saving Audrey and I'll listen.
Saving Audrey is one thing, but murdering her husband? You really believe that's our only option? To become killers?
Like I said before, we can either choose to sit back and bury Audrey or we can choose to act now and bury Stephen.
The front doorbell rings.
If I were you, I wouldn't go asking Fred any more questions about killing. He might think you're serious when you're not.
Mallory crosses to the front door and opens it.
Stephen.
Hi, Mallory.
He shoves his way into the family room. Lena follows.
Hey!
Relax, okay? We'll be in and we'll be out.
Hi, Gracie.
What the hell are you doing here?
Lena and I were heading to the tavern. I needed some books, but did Audrey leave her purse here?
You son of a bitch.
Excuse me?
You animal.
You got a lot of nerve talking to my brother like that.
And your piece of shit brother has got a lot of nerve for showing his face after what he did tonight.
You insult him one more time.
Mallory shoves Lena.
That's it. That's it!
Lena thrusts herself towards Mallory. Stephen grabs a hold of her and holds her back.
Hey, stop it! Enough!
No! So you know what? This bitch has been in my face since the second I got into this town, okay? And I've had it!
We didn't come here to fight.
Of course you didn't, Stephen. People like you only fight people who can't fight back. People like Audrey. The same Audrey you put in the hospital tonight because you pushed her down the stairs.
Oh, yeah? Why don't you go ahead and prove it then? None of Gracie's buddies at the department can. According to them, she slipped and fell.
Audrey's always been rather clumsy.
You're going to pay, Stephen! Not just for tonight, but for every single time you put your hands on her.
Did you just threaten my brother, Mallory? Huh? Was that a threat?
Then go wait in the truck.
Are you crazy? After what she just said?
I said go wait in the truck. I'm not scared of these two. They just talk, and talk is cheap.
Fine.
So what the hell do you two want?
We want you out of Audrey's life. For good.
Since when is our marriage any of your business?
Since you started beating our sister.
Well, I'll admit things between me and Audrey aren't perfect.
We want you out of her life, Stephen, and we want it now.
As I told you before, that ain't going to happen. I'm married to Audrey, and that's the way it's going to stay. So if you two think you can convince her to leave, then you're even crazier than I thought. If you do find her purse, just drop it off at the house, okay? Because once Audrey's discharged and comes home to me, and believe me, she will, I don't want either of you bothering us again.
Mallory rushes over to the bar cart and pours herself a drink.
I take it you're going to tell Fred?
Tell him what?
About what just happened. How they came in here, demanded money, wanted to fight us.
No. I'm not going to tell Fred anything. You were right with what you said earlier. The situation's beyond that now. It's beyond anything I could have imagined. Do you remember the day they got married, Grace? Do you remember Audrey and Stephen's wedding?
What? Of course I do. Why are you asking?
Because I've been thinking about that day a lot lately. I was in the middle of my divorce with Harrison at the time, and all I could think about was my pain. A wedding was the last place in the world where I wanted to be. That was until I saw Audrey walking down the aisle. The way her smile just radiated across the church, the way she looked in that stunning white dress. Everyone was oohing and ahhing about what a beautiful bride she was. And then suddenly, just like that, all I could think about was her joy. For the first time in years, my youngest sister was truly happy. And if I was going to be alone for the rest of my life, it brought me comfort knowing she would at least have someone. I wanted better for her. I wanted her to have what I couldn't. And now she's worse than I ever was.
What are you trying to tell me, Mallory?
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but what I'm trying to tell you at this point is we can either choose to sit back and bury Audrey, or we can choose to act now and bury Stephen.
Mallory, if you're with me on this, then I need to hear you say it out loud because I can't do this by myself. I'm going to need you by my side from start to finish. From this point on, there's no turning back.
I'm with you, Grace. I will do whatever it takes to save Audrey. I wish there was another way, but if it means killing Stephen, then I'm in. You have my word.
Then, if we're going to do this, it has to be as soon as possible. Once the hospital is done observing Audrey and she's officially discharged, she'll be back home with him and we'll lose the opportunity.
Where were you thinking of doing this?
I was thinking we should do it here.
Here? But this was Mom and Dad's home. It's your house now, and you want to do it here?
As a former cop, I can tell you. It's the littlest things left at the scene that send people to prison. Here, we know this place inside and out. It's been our home since we were kids. We'll notice the little things.
How are we going to do it?
No guns or knives. They're too messy. We drug him. Yeah. A high dose of a simple sleeping pill would do. When he's unconscious, we smother him.
Smother him?
That way, there won't be any mess or struggle. We lure him here, give him a drink, and when it takes effect, we go to work.
Given what just happened, I severely doubt he wants to come over and have a couple of drinks with us.
We'll tell him we want to apologize for our behavior tonight. I'll stop by his place tomorrow and invite him over for a drink as a way of making it up to him.
Do you seriously think that's going to work?
I know Stephen. He thrives on bullshit attention like that.
From what I saw tonight, it seems like he thrives on money too.
We'll add money to the mix then. We'll tell him we have some money for Audrey for when she's discharged. We'll ask him to give it to her. Okay, so we have a way to get him over here and we have a way to do it. All that's left is
figuring out where to dump the body.
That's probably the most important part in all of this. Not just for me and you, but also for Audrey.
Audrey?
As long as the body's never found, she'll never know the truth. She'll spend the rest of her life thinking Stephen just left her. She can move on with her life without suspecting a thing. But she can be happy, Mallory. She can finally find happiness, but for that to happen, we need to think of a place.
The abandoned well.
What?
The old abandoned well in the woodland that led to Forgotten Falls. Remember, we passed it that day Audrey led us to the falls. That's where we'll dump it.
You want to drive all the way up to the falls with Stephen's body. That's over 2 hours away. And anyway, how far was that well from the hotel? Audrey led us down that trail for miles. You expect us to lug a corpse miles and miles down a trail.
We won't have to walk miles and miles down a trail. I remember that woodland is accessible from Knott Street, which leads to the highway. We park on Knott Street and carry the body into the woods that way. It can't even be half a mile from the road.
But how do you know that well is even still there? How do you know that part of the woodland is even there? The place was abandoned when we hiked through it over 10 years ago. They might have torn down all these trees and put up a fast food place for all we know.
If we can't access the woods or the abandoned well, then we'll just have to find someplace else.
I don't know.
Think about it. No one is going to believe you and I or anybody else killed Stephen and drove over 2 hours to dump his body. This will work, Grace. It'll work. Now we have to think of when we'll do this.
How about tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night?
They're not going to keep her in the hospital very long. Once she's discharged and goes back home with Stephen, we won't get another chance. I think tomorrow night is our only opportunity.
All right. Tomorrow night it is.
Are you sure you can help me do this? Talking about killing someone and actually doing it are two completely different things.
I'll help you. I don't have another choice.
We'll talk about this more in the morning then. In the meantime, I think we both could use some sleep. Good night, Mallory. Get some rest. You're gonna need it.
Mallory downs her drink, sets it on the bar cart, and picks up the photo of her, Grace, and Audrey from the bookshelf.
It's all for you, Audrey. It's all for you.
The family room of the Barnes home the next night. Mallory paces back and forth about the room. Grace enters through the kitchen door. She carries a bottle of liquor.
Stephen's favorite.
What about the sleeping pills?
Grace pulls out a plastic bag from one of her pockets. A thin white powder rests on its bottom.
Are you sure you crushed enough?
It'll be enough. Trust me.
She slips the bag back into her pocket.
You said Fred earlier today. You said you saw Fred earlier today in town?
Yeah, he said he'll stop by tomorrow after Audrey is discharged.
You know why he's stopping by, don't you?
To convince her to press charges.
He really thinks that after all of this, she will.
Don't you dare put this on me, Mallory.
What?
Trying to back out of this?
I'm not. I was just wondering, what if he's right and she does?
She won't. And even by some miracle she did, there's no guarantee she'd be protected. Men like Stephen Lawrence don't just magically stop when their wives take a stand.
The front doorbell rings.
That's him. Time to quit wondering about things.
Hello, Stephen.
Mallory. Hi, Gracie.
Hi, Stephen. Pick this up. Just for you.
Oh, you remembered. It's my favorite. I'm shocked.
It's the least Mallory and I could do, given how we acted last night. I'll pour you a glass. Please, have a seat.
Mallory sits down with Stephen. Grace begins to prepare him a drink.
I know Grace already apologized to you in person, but I wanted to be sure I did as well. It was wrong of me to accuse you of pushing Audrey down the stairs. I was just so upset about her being in the hospital. Speaking of which, I have the money for you to give her when she comes home tomorrow.
Listen, yeah, I've been thinking about this ever since Gracie first invited me over. I think you should give the money to Audrey yourself. Well, it won't mean much coming from me.
Excuse me?
You know, believe it or not, I didn't come here to get an apology. I came here to give one. First, for coming over last night to get Audrey's purse. You know, looking back, it was a real shit thing to do. I found her purse near the stairs, of all places. And next, for what I did to her, I mean, you two had every right to flip out. If some bum had done to my sister what I did to yours, I don't know what I'd do.
Wait, are you saying you did in fact push her down the stairs?
Yeah. Up until the other night, the stuff I did to Audrey was no different than the stuff my folks used to do to me and Lena. I truly never meant to push her down the stairs. I just meant to give her a little shove because I was pissed about something. But a little shove turned into a big push, and before I knew it, she was falling head over heels. Either way, what I did was messed up. I know that now. I know that I need to do something about this. I know it ain't going to be easy, but I need to do it for her. I've been a real shit husband lately. And I want to start being a good one.
And how exactly do you plan on changing, Stephen?
Well, anger management would be a hell of a start. I know there are ways for a guy like me to get help. Sure, it won't happen overnight, but I have to start doing something now before it's too late.
And why the hell should we believe you?
Because I'm here now. If I wasn't serious, why would I come tonight? I know I have a serious problem, Mallory, and I need serious help. That's why I think Audrey should stay here with the two of you for a while.
You want her to stay here with us?
I mean, my problem is the way I treat her. So being with her isn't going to solve the problem. It's like a drug addict who can't stop doing drugs. You're not going to keep him in the same room with the drugs. I'm going to tell Audrey all of this in the morning and explain everything. I'd actually like for the two of you to be there with me.
Stephen, I don't know what to say.
Here's a drink, Stephen.
Grace,
What?
maybe we should hold off on drinks?
Why?
Given what was just said, don't you think we should wait?
Something wrong?
Nothing's wrong, Stephen. Drink up. Jeff Sutherland used to apologize to Claire all the time, too. Look what happened there.
Here's the change.
A buzzing comes from his pants pocket. He sets down his drink.
Hang on. It's Lena.
What does she want?
Wants to know if I'd meet her at the tavern later tonight.
Are you going to?
I don't know. Audrey's always saying she's always saying I drink too much, and I'm beginning to think she's right. On second thought, maybe it'd be best if I just went home.
Home?
Yeah, I already said all I needed to say. No use in me hanging around any longer than needed.
You don't have to leave just yet. Finish your drink.
I appreciate you picking it up for me, but I'm not in the mood. Thanks, anyway. Mallory? Gracie?
Grace?
It's now or never.
Grace picks up the liquor decanter from the bar cart. She races behind Stephen and strikes him in the back of the head. Stephen falls to the floor. She sets down the liquor decanter, grabs a pillow from the couch, and attempts to smother him. Stephen fights her off and manages to pin her down. Grabs the pillow, and the two continue to struggle.
Mallory, help me! Help!
Mallory picks up the liquor decanter and strikes Stephen in the head with it. He drops the pillow and slumps back down to the floor. Grace rises with the pillow in hand.
Hold him down! Hold him down!
Mallory holds down Stephen's body while Grace resumes smothering him.
Bastard! You son of a bitch!
Stephen attempts to fight back, but to no avail. After several long moments, he finally becomes still. Grace and Mallory slowly back away from the body.
Is he?
Grace bends over and feels for a pulse.
Yeah.
Oh, God!
Mallory rushes out the room to the kitchen door. Grace picks up some napkins from the bar cart and cleans up the decanter. She puts the pillow back on the couch.
You're in shock. Everything you're feeling right now is normal.
Why did you attack him? He was coming around. He was going to get help. He was going to let her stay with us.
And you believe him? You believe the man who's been beating our sister for months and who put her in the hospital? Not even 24 hours ago, he came here asking for money from her purse, for God's sake.
It just wasn't supposed to happen like this. He was supposed to be unconscious when we smothered him. 1 second he's talking to us, and the next...
Bottom line is we did it. We did it because it had to be done. Now I'm going to need your help moving the body. I'll get the gloves for us to wear, then we'll put him in the trunk of my car. We'll drive my car over to Stephen's place, and I'll follow you in Stephen's truck. Once Stephen's truck is dropped off, I'll drive the two of us in my car up to Forgotten Falls. We'll be there by midnight.
A pinging sound comes from Stephen's body. Mallory pulls out a cell phone from his pocket.
Lena?
Yeah, he never responded to her message.
We have to respond.
Huh?
If we don't, she might think something's wrong and show up at his house.
She takes the phone and texts.
How's this? I can meet you at the tavern at 11:30. That'll keep her busy and keep her away from the house while we drop off the truck.
What's she going to do when he doesn't show up?
Not a problem. By then, we'll be at Forgotten Falls, Stephen will be at the bottom of the well, and this whole thing will be over. We'll wipe our prints off this, and when we get to the falls, we'll toss this down the well with him.
Do you think Alina knew he was coming here tonight?
I don't know. Too many texts here. We don't have time to go through all of them. Let's just make sure we turn it off.
She turns off Stephen's phone.
I'll get the gloves and my keys, and then we'll go.
She slips the phone into her pocket. She prepares to cross out the hallway door when she notices Mallory staring at the body.
Mallory, remember what I said earlier. This is the time when people start to make mistakes. We've come this far. Let's finish what we started. Let's finish for Mallory. For Audrey. Let's finish for Audrey.
The family room of the Barnes home the next morning. Stephen's body has been removed. Audrey has a bandage over her forehead. A pillow and blanket rest on the couch, and an assortment of magazines and books have been stacked into a pile on the coffee table. A pill bottle rests on the coffee table as well.
Here we are. Welcome home, Audrey.
What's all this?
You're home away from home. You have everything here you need to get better. I even found those old storybooks you used to read when you were sick as a kid.
And if the magic fairy tales doesn't work, there's always the magic of alcohol.
I can't drink, Grace. You know that with all the painkillers I have to take.
Speaking of which, I have them already out for you.
You too did all of this for me.
It was mostly Mallory, since she kept telling me I was doing it wrong.
The next few weeks are going to be just like when we were little. The three of us back here, staying up late, sleeping in, and doing everything together.
And when you last spoke to Stephen, he said it was okay with me staying here.
That's what he told us.
I wish he had been at the hospital earlier this morning. There's something I want to tell him. There's something I want to tell all of you, actually.
The front doorbell rings.
I'll get it.
Fred carries a bouquet of flowers.
Morning, Fred.
Morning, Grace. Hi, Mel, Audrey.
Hi, Fred. It's so good to see you. What are those?
She gestures to the flowers.
A little welcome home present.
He hands her the flowers.
I figured you could use these to brighten up the place.
Oh, Fred. These are my favorite too.
I know. I can remember your favorite flower. I can't remember where I leave my cell phone half the time.
Thank you so much. It was incredibly sweet of you.
It was the least I could do. How long have you all been back here?
We literally just walked in through the door.
Oh, glad I came in when I did then. I wanted to see all of you.
I wanted to see you too, Fred. There's something I need to tell you. I didn't slip and fall down the stairs like I'm sure Stephen told you. He pushed me. This wasn't the first time he's hurt me either, but I want to make sure it's the last. With the help of my sisters, I want to move on with my life. I want to divorce him, but I can't do that without holding him accountable for what he's done. I'm so sorry I didn't tell you sooner, but I wanted to wait until we all got settled.
Now, when you say you want to hold him accountable,
I want to press charges. Later today, I'd like to head down to the department with you if that's all right.
Audrey, it's more than all right. It's what I've been waiting for. It's what we've all been waiting for.
Before I do that, There's something I'd like to take care of. I want to stop by the house to tell Stephen I'm leaving him. I want to do it face to face. Mallory and Grace, I'd like you both to be there with me if you can.
The front doorbell frenetically rings.
Lena, is there a problem? Lena, what's wrong? Lena, I don't know what you're doing here.
I need to talk to Grace. And you're here too? Have you talked to Stephen, Audrey?
No, we were just about to head over to the house.
He's not there.
What?
You heard what I said. He's not at the house.
Are you sure, Lena? I rode by the house on the way here and I saw his truck.
His truck is here.
His truck is there, but he's not. Okay, I know because I looked inside the house and he's not there. I've been trying to reach him since last night. I must have left a dozen messages.
When was the last time you spoke with him?
Around 10 o'clock last night. That was the last time he responded.
I can meet you at the tavern at 11:30.
He never showed up. I waited for over an hour.
Well, have you spoken to any of the bartenders? Maybe you missed him.
The ones I've already talked to didn't see him. Do you know anything about this?
I'm sorry?
When was the last time you saw him, Mallory?
When you stopped by with him the other night?
Stephen was here?
We saw him for a couple minutes 2 nights ago. He thought you left your purse here and came to look for it. Mallory and I talked to him for a bit and then he left.
Bullshit. Bullshit. You didn't talk to him. You both threatened him, especially you.
That's not true. We never threatened him.
You said he was going to pay for what he did to her. And now he's missing. Ain't that strange?
I was upset. He put my sister in the hospital.
Oh, like hell he did. He didn't do anything to you.
Huh.
Did he?
He did. He put me in the hospital, Lena.
What?
Stephen pushed me down the stairs. I'm done with him and I want a divorce.
You're full of it. You can't be serious. You're gonna leave him? After everything he's done for someone
enough,
like
Lena.
you? No, you ungrateful little bitch. How dare you? How dare you?
Lena, get out of here right now or I'm going to haul your ass down to the department. You cannot just barge into someone's house like this and make these kinds of accusations and insults.
If you two know anything about where my brother is, I swear to God.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm great actually. I've been wanting to stand up to her for a long time. I can't believe what she said though, about Stephen not being home. I can't imagine where he'd be.
Doesn't he have a friend up in Connecticut?
Yeah, Paul Gunderson.
Stephen knew you were coming home today. I'd say he didn't want to stick around because he knew he went too far this time. This Paul probably came down and picked him up sometime last night. Not the first time he's driven Stephen up there, right?
No, Stephen usually has Paul at the house, and then Paul drives him back up to Connecticut.
I'll get in touch with Paul later today. I'll take care of it.
I'll get a vase for these, and then I think I'll take a nice hot shower. Feels like ages since I've had one. Oh, wait, I can't. I just realized I don't have any clothes. They're all back at the house.
Grace, would you mind taking her back to the house?
Oh, you don't have to do that right now. You just drove back here.
We're talking about a 10-minute drive, Audrey. I think Grace can handle it.
We were gonna pack up a bunch of your stuff and bring it here anyway. Might as well do some of it now.
Thank you. Let me just take care of these.
Start keeping an extra close eye on Lena from now on. I wouldn't worry about it, though. As you've seen through past experience, she's full of hot air. But if there is ever an incident like that again, you let me know right away.
We will.
You're doing the right thing, Audrey. Always remember that. Not just for yourself, but for all of us. We all want this for you.
Audrey and Fred hug.
Ready, Audrey?
Yeah.
I'll have some lunch ready for you two when you get back.
Sounds great. Bye, Mel.
She's actually going to press charges. I wasn't expecting that.
Neither was I.
Aren't you happy?
Of course I am.
You don't seem it.
I just feel drained. It was a long night, to say the least.
I called here a couple of times last night to see how you two were holding up, but there wasn't an answer.
You called here last night? I didn't see any messages.
I didn't leave any. I remembered the machine kicks in on the fifth ring, so I hung up after the fourth. You and Grace go out?
Yeah, we went out for a drink. Did it some good to get out of the house?
Go to the tavern?
No, we didn't want to go to any place local. We figured we might bump into someone who might have heard Audrey was in the hospital, and if they started asking questions about why she was there...
Yeah, I understand. What was the name of the bar you went to?
I don't remember. Grace and I were quite the emotional wrecks. We just wanted to get away from here. Far away from here.
How far are we talking about?
What's with all these questions, Fred?
I was just wondering where you two went. I was worried.
The bar was about an hour from here. We rode around for a while and then we just came upon a place. I'd know the name of it if I heard it, though.
The one thing still doesn't add up.
What?
Why would Stephen tell Lena he was going to the tavern at 11:30 if he had no intention of doing so? I could definitely see Stephen standing someone up, but not his sister. Those two are inseparable.
Oh, well, we saw how he treated women. Standing his sister up is nothing compared to what he did to Audrey.
I guess you're right. He really wasted no time in getting out of here, did he? I will find him. I'm making it my #1 priority.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you for caring so much about Audrey. You never stopped caring about any of us, did you?
No. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't stop.
Do you remember my flower?
What?
My favorite flower. You remembered Audrey's. I was wondering if you would remember mine.
Violets. Same as your favorite color.
That's right. My ex-husband Harrison could never remember either of those things. It'll be 2.5 years this September since we split.
A year for me and Megan this October.
When Grace told me you had gotten married, she said the two of you seemed so happy. If you don't mind me asking, why did you break up?
See, no matter what I did or how hard I tried, I could never give her the life she wanted. And one day out of the blue, she sat me down and told me our marriage was going nowhere and she wanted out.
Just like that?
Just like that. If you don't mind me asking, how did your divorce come about? I've heard so many rumors, but I can never get the real story from Grace or Audrey.
It's probably nowhere near as exciting as all the stories you heard. Long story short, I came home early from the studio one day and caught him in bed with another woman.
Oh, God. I'm so sorry, Mallory.
Not as sorry as I am for you. You deserved happiness in your life.
Oh, I've been happy.
You know what I mean. You deserve to be with someone who appreciates you. I know it doesn't mean much after all these years, but I am sorry, Fred. I'm sorry for the way I treated you.
You were following your dream. Your dream career was calling out to you in LA while I was calling for you to stay here with me. I put you in a tough position.
Looking back, it wasn't that tough. I've thought of this moment over the years, the moment where I'd finally get the chance to talk to you like this. I must have rehearsed it, what I was going to say at least 1,000 times. It was like writing draft after draft of a script, and my lines were always changing.
What do you say in this draft?
That I never should have called off our engagement. I never should have left. I should have stayed here with you.
You know, over the years, I've thought of this moment too. I rehearsed it in my head more times than I'd like to admit. In a way, I guess I was writing drafts too.
And how does this draft turn out?
When I tell you it's not too late for either of us to find happiness,
I'd say it is for me.
I wouldn't be so sure of that.
He takes her hands and kisses her.
Fred, what are we doing?
Isn't it obvious?
I mean, moving forward, are you saying you want this? You want us?
I am saying I have made enough wrong choices in my life. I have lived with too many regrets. I want that to change, all that, starting right now.
Then let me help you.
She kisses him. They embrace. The family room of the Barnes home a week later. Audrey lies on the couch with a book from the coffee table in hand, while Mallory sits beside her reading another book. Audrey no longer has the bandage on her forehead. She stares off into space.
Book not holding your interest?
No, nothing has been able to today.
It was one of those kinds of days, wasn't it? A day where you just want to sit around and do nothing.
It wasn't the day, Mel. It was me.
I know. You've seemed out of it the past couple of days. Want to talk about it?
I'm not sure I can. I want to tell you how sorry I am for being such a burden.
Audrey, stop it. The last thing you are is a burden.
I've caused you so much pain over the years.
What are you talking about?
Mom and Dad are dead because of me.
Audrey, don't you dare go down that road.
I was driving the car that day. I was responsible.
No, we are not going to get into this. Not now, not ever.
If it wasn't for me, you and Grace wouldn't be orphans.
Stop it! Audrey, I have no idea where the hell this is coming from, but I want it to stop right now. You're supposed to be getting better. Torturing yourself with this kind of stuff certainly isn't going to help.
I just wanted to make sure of something.
Make sure of what?
That you don't hate me.
Hate you? Hate you? Dear God, how could such a horrid thought like that even enter your head? I love you, Audrey, more than you'll ever know.
She hugs her.
There's been something I've been meaning to tell you, and now seems as good a time as ever. I'm going to move back here. I want to move back here so I can be with you.
But what about LA? You said after the book was done, you might go back there to work on some new screenplays.
I've done all I can in the movie business. There's nothing out there for me anymore. But there is something for me here, and that's you.
What about your writing?
I can write books wherever I live. And if I'm here with you, I'll always find inspiration. It'll just be us. For the first time in a long time, things will be just like they used to be.
No, they can't, Mallory. No matter how much we hope and how much we pray, things will never be the same.
Where are you going?
To take a shower, and then I'll call it a night. I finished your book yesterday.
You did? What did you think of it?
That out of all the stories you've written, from all of your movies to all the stories you used to tell me when we were kids, this one had to be my favorite. It's still at my place. I left it on the dresser beside my bed. Tomorrow I want you to go and get it. Can you do that for me?
Sure. Why?
You'll understand tomorrow. I'm happy you're seeing Fred again. Promise you won't let him go this time?
Audrey, why are you talking?
Remember what I told you about the book. Good night, Mallory.
Good night.
The front doorbell rings.
Who is it?
Fred,
Well, this is a nice surprise. How are you?
I'm okay. Just got off duty, wanted to stop by and see how you were doing.
I'm doing all right. Grace is upstairs watching TV, and Audrey just went up to take a shower.
How was Audrey today?
The same. She's been really distant.
About Stephen?
I don't think that's the reason.
What else could it be?
I don't know. Ever since she came back from her place with Grace that day, she's just been off. It's hard to explain.
Since we're on the subject, I have quite a few updates regarding this whole Stephen situation.
What's up?
I spoke with all the bartenders who were on duty at the tavern on Saturday. Stephen was never there. He never came in once throughout the day.
Really?
Actually, the only time Stephen was even seen by anyone on Saturday was in the morning at the grocery store. From that point on, he wasn't seen by anyone in town all day.
I'm guessing his friend Paul Gunderson must have picked him up and drove him to Connecticut, like you said.
Not exactly. I spoke with Paul. Saturday, he was at some balloon festival all day. And after that, he went up to a casino. Security tape proved it.
All right. So Paul was at some balloon festival and then he went gambling. What's so strange about that?
Well, for one thing, it proves he never came down here to pick up Stephen. When I asked him if he knew where Stephen was, he was completely clueless.
Guess Stephen's not in Connecticut then?
Well, the more I think about Stephen's text message to Lena, the more I don't think he would have intentionally stood her up. Either something's happened to him on his way to the tavern, or someone else used his phone to send that message.
You think someone else sent that text?
That's just a theory. It would certainly help if we could find his phone. Lena's tried texting and calling, but none of her messages ever go through. That text from his phone about heading to the tavern was literally the last time anyone heard from him. Looking back at everything, it also doesn't make any sense that he would run either. But given Audrey's history, he wouldn't have any reason to think she'd press charges.
What are you trying to say here, Fred?
I'm saying Stephen's been missing a week and he disappeared under suspicious circumstances. To me, it looks like it could be foul play. He had more than enough enemies, all his gambling issues, the drinking, the way he treated people.
You think someone killed him?
Well, I can't be sure of that, especially without a body. They had his truck dusted for prints.
Oh, you did? And
Only prints we found on the steering wheel and front door were his, which means if he really was killed and someone else drove his truck back to his house, they must have worn gloves. And if someone killed him, they knew what they were doing.
so, what does this mean moving forward?
It means I have a lot of questions to ask a lot of people. And if you don't mind, I'd like to start with you.
Me? You want to ask me questions? Is this why you really came here, Fred? To accuse me of doing whatever you think happened to Stephen? You saying I hurt him or worse?
Mallory, calm down, please. I did not come over here to accuse you of anything. I just figured since I'm already here, I'd ask you. From what I've been able to find out, you and Grace were two of the last people to have a conversation with him face to face before he disappeared.
I already told you about that. He stopped here with Lena the night before he disappeared and was asking for Audrey's purse.
Lena says you threatened him that night.
I did not threaten him. Sure, I was angry, but I didn't threaten him. Lena will say anything against me and my sisters. You know that.
Oh, I do. But I also know that right after he put Audrey in the hospital, you asked me what it was like to kill someone.
Oh, for Christ's sake, I spoke out of anger.
You have to look at things from my point of view. You ask me something like that, and 24 hours later, your brother-in-law vanishes without a trace. It's quite a coincidence.
I cannot believe I'm hearing this. Jesus Christ.
Just answer me this question, and I'll drop it for tonight.
What?
Do you have any idea what happened to Stephen Mallory?
No, I have no idea what happened to him.
All right. Let Grace know that I'd like to talk to her sometime this week. I just want to ask her the same questions I asked you.
Fine, I'll let her know.
Thank you.
Is there anything else?
Well, I was hoping we could decide what to do for our next date night.
Oh. I was thinking we could do dinner again or a movie.
How about both?
Sure, sounds great.
I'm working tomorrow night, but I'm free the night after.
2 nights from now sounds perfect.
Give me some time to get more of your book done. I'm about 2/3 into it right now.
Really? You're that far along?
Well, I'm just as surprised as you are. I never knew I could read so fast.
You must really be liking it then.
I'd like to wait till I'm done before I give you an official critique, if that's okay with you.
Sure. When you're done, I look forward to your official critique. Since you're here now, how about that drink? You did promise to have one here before the summer was over.
I know, but I should get going. It's late and I still have some work to do at home. We will have one together before the summer's over, though.
You promise?
Have I ever broken a promise to you, Mal?
Not now, not ever.
Are you sure everything's okay?
Yes, everything's fine.
You'd tell me if it wasn't, right?
Of course I would.
Get some sleep, okay? You look tired.
Good night.
They kiss.
Is that Fred?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I left something in the kitchen. I wanted to get it before bed.
He didn't interrupt anything. He was just stopping by on his way home from work. He's suspicious.
What?
He knows something's up. He was asking me questions about Stephen. He's got questions for you too. He already had the truck examined for fingerprints.
And did he find anything?
No.
All right, so what's the problem? We knew this would happen eventually. We knew they'd examine his truck and treat this like a missing persons case.
He's already taken this beyond a missing persons case. He knows, Grace. He knows something horrible happened to Stephen.
Oh, come on.
I'm telling you, the questions he was asking me, the way he asked them, he knows something is off and that we are somehow a part of it. It's all because of Lena. She had burst in here that day and completely...
Mallory, stop it. No one in this town, especially someone like Fred, is going to take someone like Lena Lawrence seriously. She's got absolutely nothing. And Fred's got absolutely nothing. We're home free.
He just sounded so convinced, though.
He has to sound convinced. He's a sheriff. He may be your boyfriend again, but he's the sheriff first. He's still your boyfriend, isn't he?
Yes.
Well, there's your answer. If he had anything, you really think that'd be the case? Relax. He's just doing what he has to do.
You mean like we did?
What?
You said we had to kill Stephen. You said we had to do it. Knowing what we know now, do you still feel that way?
Yes.
Really? Even after Audrey pressed charges?
Like I told you before, Audrey pressing charges wouldn't have stopped Stephen forever. We were able to.
Keep seeing him there, Grace. In my nightmares, whenever I walk into this room, I keep seeing him lying there with that glazed look in his eyes.
Just remember, Audrey's safe for the rest of her life thanks to us. Remember that. I'll talk to Fred in the morning. You really should get some rest. You do look tired.
Mallory continues to stare at the spot on the floor where Stephen died. The family room of the Barnes home a few hours later, night. Audrey lies motionless on the couch. The pill bottle on the coffee table is now empty. An empty liquor bottle rests beside it. The book Mallory was previously reading remains on the couch where she had sat. Mallory enters the family room through the hallway door wearing a bathrobe. As she tiptoes across the family room, she bumps into the coffee table.
Sorry, I couldn't sleep, so I came to grab my book. Good night, Audrey.
She looks at Audrey.
Audrey?
She examines her.
Audrey?
She no longer whispers. She notices the empty pill bottle and liquor bottle.
Oh my God.
She shakes her body.
Audrey! Audrey! Grace! Grace, get in here! Audrey, please don't do this. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
Grace bursts into the room wearing a bathrobe.
What is it?
She took all the pills and drank this. She's not responding.
Call 911. Do it now.
Mallory races out of the kitchen door while Grace rushes over to Audrey. The family room of the Barnes home a few hours later, the next morning. Mallory and Grace sit on the couch while Fred stands beside them.
When was the last time you spoke with her? Before you went to bed, that is.
During dinner. After dinner, I went to watch TV in my room and didn't see her for the rest of the night.
When was the last time you spoke with her, Mallory? Mallory?
What?
When was the last time you spoke with Audrey?
Around 11 o'clock. I came in here to check if she had taken her medication. She told me she hadn't. And I gave her a hug and a kiss goodnight.
And did she say anything to either of you that was out of the ordinary?
Not to me. She really didn't say anything to me all day, actually.
She apologized to me.
She apologized to you. For what?
For causing our family pain. I just thought she was extra tired or something like that. I knew the past few days had been rough for her. Never did I think she was planning this. Never.
When it comes to these sorts of things, we usually never see the signs, even if they're right in front of us. How long has it been since her first attempt?
9.5 years. It was right after the accident.
Given everything she's been through in life, especially with her husband just leaving her like this.
You really think she killed herself because of Stephen? No, she was moving on from that. She was pressing charges. You saw it.
What I saw was a woman who suffered years of torment and abuse. Maybe she wasn't as ready to move on as we thought. Maybe in the end, what Stephen did to her throughout the years, it was just too much.
No, I can't believe that. Not Audrey, not my sister. This time it was different.
The things Audrey was dealing with, those things just don't go away overnight, no matter how much we want them to. We should get the official results of the autopsy soon. In the meantime, let me know if you need anything. I'm so sorry.
I should have come in here to get my book sooner. If I had been here just an hour sooner, I could have saved her.
She was already gone by the time we called for help. She must have taken those pills right after you said goodnight.
We did this, Grace. If what Fred said is true about Audrey killing herself over Stephen supposedly leaving her, then we did this.
We did what we had to do and try to save our sister. We did everything in our power.
Clearly that wasn't enough. We did it for nothing. Do you think she knew? Do you think she knew what we did to Stephen?
Mallory, come on now.
It was like she was trying to tell me something last night. Something she couldn't come right out and say.
Yeah, that she was planning on killing herself. She obviously wasn't going to tell you that.
No, it was something else. Something I can't explain right now.
Why don't you try and get some rest?
Rest? How the hell am I supposed to rest? Audrey is dead. Grace, our sister is dead.
I'm just saying, we're not going to figure anything out when we're like this.
Right now, I just want to sit here.
Don't sit here. This is where Audrey did it.
Please. I just need to sit here.
Okay. Let me know if you need anything.
Mallory struggles to compose herself again. She picks up the book she was reading from the night prior.
The book.
Fred left his phone.
Grace, we need to go to Audrey's place.
Audrey's place, why?
I think she may have left something there for me.
What? Mallory, what the hell are you talking about?
She told me she was leaving a copy of my book on her dresser. Just take me there.
The front doorbell rings.
That's this, Fred. We'll talk about this in a minute, okay?
Don't tell him about going to Audrey's.
Why not?
Because Audrey only wanted me to know about this. Just trust me, okay?
The front doorbell rings again.
Coming! You left it in the hallway.
Grace opens the door. Lena carries a gun and aims it at Grace. She's noticeably drunk.
Get inside. Do it now.
Grace backs into the family room. Lena enters the family room and slams the door shut behind her. Mallory rises.
Lena?
I saw Sheriff Watson making his way down the road. Is he here?
Yes, he was.
Is there anyone else here right now, or are you two alone?
There's no one else here. Whatever you want, let's just talk about it.
No, see, I'm done. I'm done talking. I know you two met with Stephen that night he disappeared. He told me all about how you wanted to apologize and about how you were gonna have came over for drinks, right? And I didn't say anything when I was here earlier because I was waiting for you two to bring it up. The question now is, why didn't you, huh? Because I think you killed my brother that night, okay? You killed him, didn't you?
Lena, this is insane. You're drunk. You're not thinking straight. If you would just let us.
Lena strikes Grace. Grace falls to the floor.
Grace!
Mallory rushes forward. Lena aims the gun at her.
Don't take another step.
What do you want?
I want to know. I want to know what happened that night.
She nudges Grace with her foot.
Get up!
Mallory helps Grace up.
Sit down.
Mallory and Grace sit on the couch.
Now I want the truth, okay? What did you do to my brother?
We didn't do anything to him. He came over, had a drink, we apologized to him, and then he left.
No, you're a liar! You're a liar!
Lena, please! Please, just listen.
Lena points the gun at Mallory.
Tell me the truth, or I will. I swear to God, I'll put a bullet in you. I swear.
I swear to you I am.
God damn it, Lena.
This is your last chance.
Please.
Fine.
Lena turns the gun away from Mallory and shoots Grace in the shoulder. Grace falls to the floor in pain.
No!
The next one, Mallory, it's in her head, okay? And then you'll have 2 dead sisters instead of just one. So, yeah, no, that's right. I found out about poor little Audrey. Now, you tell me what you did to Stephen, or I swear to God, I will kill Grace right here.
She points the gun at Grace's head.
Okay, I'll tell you everything. Just don't hurt my sister, please.
I want to hear you say it. Did you kill my brother?
Yes.
Mallory, what are you doing?
I'm telling her what we did.
Are you insane?
I'm not going to lose you two, Grace. Besides, Audrey is gone. What difference does it make now anyway? Lena, we killed him here, in this room.
How?
We smothered him. We tried knocking him out with some sleeping pills in his drink, but he wouldn't drink it. We hit him in the head with a liquor decanter, and when he was down, we smothered him with a pillow.
You smothered my brother. You smothered him? Oh, for fuck's sake, we don't even smother rabid animals. We shoot them quick and we put them out of their misery. And you smothered my brother.
She strikes Mallory.
Where's his body? Where is it?
At the bottom of a well.
What well?
An abandoned well near Forgotten Falls.
Forgotten Falls? You drove my brother's body all the way up there.
We drove it up there so no one would ever find it.
You two really planned this all out, didn't you?
We did it to save Audrey.
Cut the shit.
It's true. Your brother put her in the hospital for God's sake. We did it to save her life.
Don't lie to me. This was never about saving your sister, and you know it. So tell me why did you kill him, Mallory? Tell me why you and Grace, why you really killed him.
We just told you why we did.
No. I want the real reason.
She grabs a hold of Mallory and holds the gun to her head.
You have 5 seconds. 1.
That is the real reason. It's the real reason.
2.
I don't know what you want me to say.
3.
She doesn't know the real reason, Lena. She doesn't know.
I'll be damned.
She lets go of Mallory.
Grace, what is she talking about?
I'm talking about what I found at Stephen's place earlier this morning. Well, I went upstairs because I left one of my hunting rifles in his closet. Saw Audrey's book on her dresser with a little note sticking out of it.
No, Audrey left a note in my book.
I don't remember it being there the last time I went. Just wanted to see what it was. Man, I'm glad I did.
What did it say?
Go ahead, Grace. Tell her. It was a suicide note addressed to you.
What? Tell me what it said.
Doesn't matter at this point. All that matters is what the two of you did. Stephen was the only person I had left. It's everything to me. And you took him away. Just like that.
Lena, please.
Say hi to your bitch sister in hell.
She aims the gun at Mallory. Fred bursts in through the front door with a gun in hand.
Freeze!
Lena spins around to fire, but Fred fires first. With 2 shots, Lena crumbles to the floor and becomes still. Fred rushes over to Lena's body. He puts the gun over it and checks for pulse. Nothing.
You two okay?
Grace was shot.
Mallory.
Fred examines Grace's gunshot wound.
Mallory, put pressure on it. I'll call an ambulance.
Fred picks up his cell phone while Mallory approaches Grace and puts pressure on her gunshot wound. 2 sisters stare at each other. The family room of the Barnes home a few days later, morning. Several bouquets of flower lie on the coffee table. Mallory sits on the couch with a bandage on her forehead. Fran stands behind the couch. He wraps up a conversation on his cell phone.
You guys really went all out with the flowers. Grace is still in bed. You drove her back here an hour ago. And Mallory's doing all right. She's still got a nasty gash on her forehead, but it'll heal fast. I'll be leaving soon. Bye. Grace's old sergeant wanted to see how she was doing.
I figured as much.
You didn't say a single word to her on the ride over here.
And?
It seemed strange to me. Your sister gets out of the hospital, you don't even ask her how she's doing?
I've been through a lot lately, in case you haven't noticed. I wasn't exactly feeling sociable.
I know when I go through a lot, the decisions I make aren't always the best.
I'm still moving back to Los Angeles, Fred. My decision is final. I'll be flying out tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning? Just like that?
I can't stay here. Given everything that's happened, I hope you can understand that.
When the hell were you going to tell me this?
Tonight. I was also going to stop by the department and see you in the morning. I would never leave without saying goodbye.
And what about us, Mallory? Were those couple of days we had this summer just some random fling?
Of course not.
Well, then what were they?
They were what I thought I could give you. But I can't give you that, not anymore. I'm sorry if I misled you into thinking otherwise. I meant what I said about you deserving happiness in your life, though. You deserve to be with someone, Fred. Someone who will appreciate you.
When is Audrey's funeral? I still want to go.
There isn't going to be a funeral. When our parents died, Audrey said she didn't want a funeral when it was her time. She said funerals only prolonged the grieving process. In a way, I agree with her.
If you're really going to be heading out tomorrow morning, you might as well have that drink together now. I know it's a little early, but hey, we're not going to get another chance.
He crosses to the bar cart and pours some wine into 2 glasses.
Fred, you don't have to do this.
Like I said before, I've never broken a promise to you yet, Mal. I'm not going to start now.
He takes the 2 glasses of wine, hands one to her, and sits beside her on the couch.
I wasn't lying when I said that gash will heal fast. Thing will be all healed up by the end of summer.
Wish I could say the same for me.
It's funny how the wounds that need the most healing are usually the ones we can't see. What happened here, Mallory? What could possibly have happened that would cause Lena to shoot Grace and come within a second of putting a bullet in your head?
What do you think I've been telling the police for the past couple of days? I told Lena we had nothing to do with Stephen's disappearance, and then she shot Grace and was about to kill me when you showed up.
I don't believe you.
What?
Something else had to happen for the things to escalate like that. You had to have told her something to trigger that kind of reaction.
For God's sake, the woman was a deranged drunk.
There's drunk, and then there's what I saw that morning. For her to show up like that with a gun in broad daylight, drunk or sober, there had to be no doubt in her mind that the 2 of you were involved with what happened to Stephen.
So now you're trusting the judgment of Lena Lawrence? Unbelievable.
Where were you and Grace the night Stephen disappeared?
For the millionth time, we went for drinks at some bar.
Some bar. You said it was in an hour's drive of this place?
Yes. So why are you asking me questions that you already know the answers to?
Because I've gone to every bar within an hour's drive of the here.
You what?
And not a single bartender from any of them remembered seeing 2 women matching your description and Grace's.
I guess we weren't memorable enough then. Are we done?
One more question. Before Stephen disappeared, when was the last time you spoke with Audrey? I'm trying to come up with a timeline, but I'm having trouble with that part.
The last time I spoke with Audrey?
Before Stephen disappeared. Yeah.
The last time I spoke with Audrey, the Audrey I used to know, was on a July afternoon. She was going out with her parents to buy some supplies for her senior year of college. She was happy about senior year starting, and I was happy about being engaged to you. And Grace was happy about becoming a police officer. The 3 of us had just gotten back from a wonderful vacation, and we were all looking forward to what life had in store for us. That was the last time I spoke with the Audrey I used to know.
Tell me what you did, Mallory. Tell me what you and Grace did to Stephen that night, and we can end this now. We can end this while we can.
You're going to accuse me of a crime, Fred? Then you better have some proof. Do you have proof?
Till a body is found, I'm afraid I got nothing. This wine was good. Where's it from?
It's from the winery near Forgotten Falls.
That's the place the 3 of you would vacation every summer, wasn't it?
It was.
I've always wanted to go up there myself. Maybe someday I'll get around to it. Those violets on the table are for me. I hope you enjoyed them. I finished your book the other day. With everything going on, I never got the chance to tell you.
And what did you think about it?
That it was your best work to date. You kind of left things hanging at the end, though.
I did that in case I ever decided to follow up on it.
Will you follow up on it?
I don't know yet. I haven't really thought about it.
I would consider it. I'd be interested in finding out what happens next. Goodbye, Mallory.
Mallory pulls a note out of her pocket, followed by a gold bracelet. She examines them. Grace has her shoulder in a sling.
Fred leave yet? I just woke up, was hoping to catch him. I wanted to ask him something.
She notices the bracelet.
What's that?
What? This? This is your gold bracelet, Grace. The one you said you lost near the beginning of summer? Audrey found it. Want to know where it was? It was behind her bed, the same bed she shared with Stephen. That was what she wrote in the suicide note Lena found. That was what she was trying to tell me the night she killed herself. She was trying to tell me that you were sleeping with Stephen. I went to her house the other day, and sure enough, there it was behind the bed, right where her suicide note said I would find it.
Mallory crumbles up the suicide note and throws it at Grace. Grace opens the note and reads it over. She lets it fall onto the coffee table.
Well, shit. When I drove her to pick up her clothes at the house that day, she went to the bedroom and was gone for an awfully long time. When she came out, she didn't say a word to me, but I could tell she knew. I could see it on her face and in her eyes. Up until now, I didn't know how she found out. Son of a bitch. That goddamn bracelet explains everything.
Explains everything? Grace, you were having an affair with Audrey's husband. How the hell do you explain something like that?
I don't know. Explain to me why my life was always shit and she always had hers handed to her on a platter.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm talking about a perfect baby sister, Audrey. You must have noticed her. Everyone in this town certainly did. Every man noticed her beauty. Every teacher she had in her school noticed her brains. From the moment mom and dad brought her home from the hospital, she was the one everyone adored. Just look how you put her on a pedestal, Mallory. And for what? For finding some stupid path on one of her hokey vacations. What did I ever get praised for? Nothing. The only thing I was ever known for was living in her shadow. For a while there, I did have my dream career, but that was stolen from me too, thanks to Jeff Sutherland's bullet. It was right around that time that I realized just how much I hated her. She came to visit me in the hospital one day. I had just been admitted, and the doctors thought I wasn't going to make it. She began to talk to me as I lay in bed, completely unaware that I was conscious and could hear every word she was saying. Right before the nurses came in to prepare me for surgery, and right before she left, she said something to me. Something that pushed my hatred for her to a place I never thought possible.
What? What could she have possibly said?
She told me that when she was driving mom and dad on the day of the accident, there was no animal that darted out in front of the car.
What?
The reason the accident happened, the real reason, was because she was speeding and wasn't paying attention to where she was going.
No, that's not true.
The accident happened because of her own carelessness.
No, it wasn't her fault.
It was her fault. She killed our parents, Mallory. She killed mom and dad out of her own carelessness, her own selfishness. And then she expected everybody to take care of her afterwards?
If that's all true, then why didn't you tell me sooner? Why are you telling me this now?
Because for as long as Audrey was alive, it would have been my word against hers. We both know who you would have believed, Mallory. It all makes sense when you think about it. That day we found her in the bathtub when she first tried to kill herself, why would she have done that if she wasn't to blame?
Just because she felt responsible for the accident doesn't mean it was her fault.
Believe what you want, but I know the truth. You might think I planned to get involved with Stephen, but I really didn't. It just happened one day. I had gone over to her place to return something, but she wasn't home. Stephen answered the door and said she wouldn't be home for a while and invited me in. We had a drink, we talked, we laughed, and before either of us knew it, it happened. For the first time in my life, someone had chosen me over her. Someone had chosen me over perfect little Audrey, and it was intoxicating. Steve and I would meet every chance we got, and all the while he'd tell me he would leave Audrey by the start of the summer. Then right around the time he gave her the black eye, he'd tell me what we were doing was wrong. He said it wasn't fair to her. He said he had been an awful husband and wanted to get help. Once again, I lost my perfect baby sister.
Wait, what do you mean he wanted to get help?
He said he would go to some anger management classes in the city. He knew he had a problem and he wanted to go get some help for it.
So when he told us he wanted to get help?
He was telling the truth.
Oh my God. When you asked Fred to keep an eye on the house, you weren't doing so because you cared about Audrey. You were doing so because you cared about Stephen. You always wanted to know where he was and what he was doing, and Fred was your eyes and ears. What we did had nothing to do with trying to save Audrey's life. It was all about revenge. It was revenge against Stephen for ending your affair. You were having an affair with the man who was beating our own sister. How could you do this?
She deserved what she got. Besides, Stephen never laid his hands on me. It was never just an affair, not to me. I really thought he loved me, the way I loved him.
Audrey didn't kill herself because of Stephen. She killed herself because of you, because of your betrayal, because you hated her enough to want to destroy every aspect of her life. You're responsible for all of this, Grace. And I am going to make sure you pay for what you've done.
And what are you going to do?
I'm going to Fred right now, and I'm going to tell him everything, right down to where the body is.
Are you telling me you're willing to go to prison for the rest of your life just to bring me down?
What are you talking about?
I didn't kill Stephen alone, Mallory. You were right there with me every step of the way.
I went along with it to try and save Audrey. And you did this to Audrey.
Go and tell the police that. Tell them, yeah, I killed someone, but I did it for a good reason. See what they say. The fact is you did it too. You were the one who helped me kill him. You were the one who helped me cover it up. You were the one who helped me dump the body.
You used me, Grace. You used me like a pawn in your sick little game.
It worked though, didn't it? Stephen's dead. Lena, the only other person who knew the truth, is dead. It looks to me like we're home free. You just better pray the police never find his body. Because if they do find the body, they'll have a much easier time building a case against me and against you. If they will ever find it, no, we're both screwed.
I failed you, Grace. Somewhere along the way, I failed you in ways I don't think I'll ever be able to understand.
If there's one thing I've learned in life, it's that sooner or later we all fail ourselves. When are you leaving for Los Angeles again?
Tomorrow morning. It will be the last time you'll see me.
If that's the case, you better take that photo with you. I know how much it means to you.
I think I'll leave it here. I think you could use a reminder of that time in our lives.
I don't need pictures to remind me of anything anymore. When I want to remember something, I just look at my scars.
I've got more than enough scars now, too. And I'm not sure they'll ever go away.
They never do. No matter how much we want them to, they're always looking back at us.
Mallory slowly makes her way over to the bookshelf and examines the photograph.
I did it for you, Audrey. I did it all for you.